Winter is the perfect time to explore California, and there's no better way to do it than in a brand new Toyota Hybrid with 19 fuel-efficient options, like the stylish all-hybrid Camry, the adventure-ready RAV4 Hybrid, or the rugged Tacoma Hybrid. Toyota has the perfect ride for any adventure. Every new Toyota comes with Toyota Care, a 2-year complimentary scheduled maintenance plan, an exclusive hybrid battery warranty, and of course, Toyota's legendary quality and reliability. Visit your local Toyota dealer and test drive one today so you can be prepared for wherever the road takes you this winter. Toyota, let's go places. See your local Toyota dealer for hybrid battery warranty details.
All right, MinerTalk is live. We're presented by Jack in the Box. You can listen to us here, 600 ESPN El Paso. You can listen to us on our free app. You can listen to us on our free podcast, of course, wherever you listen to your podcasts. I'm Adrian Broadus. He's Sal Montes. Zay Galindo's on site at the Don Haskins Center watching UTEP women's basketball in a much more spirited game and a much better game to follow compare if you're a UTEP fan compared to what we saw here tonight from the men's basketball team on the road against Missouri State. I've got segments. I've got things I want to talk about. You can call in 915-505-6009. I don't expect much out of the phone calls. I had a couple of people stop me earlier this week and say, man, what's going on MinerTalk? And I'm like, you know what? And I don't know what you have to say about this, Sal, but I'll just say this. You know what? I just don't think that fans are in it at all right now with UTEP. I really don't. I think it's been a down year in athletics in general from the start of the football season leading into this disappointing men's basketball season. The two money-making sports have just really disappointed UTEP fans and made them feel kind of unspirited right now. But that's kind of the reason. I mean, we've had comments. There's obvious interest. People still find out the score one way or another. But as a whole, the fan base is down. And how many times can you continue to repeat yourself? Because you could just put this same MinerTalk on like the last 7 of the last 8 games where they've lost.
And I think it's this is like an oxymoron, but they're consistently inconsistent, right? When it matters the most, they're just going to go off script and do something that they shouldn't be doing. And it's funny you mentioned this, right? Like people could tune into MinerTalk, tune into a couple weeks back, couple first games of the season, whatever. You're pretty much going to hear kind of the same stuff that we're going to say, but to that mark. Yes. Turn on the UTEP broadcast, whether it's the radio, whether it's on, Plus or whatever. They're probably going to be saying the same thing they said, 5 possessions before. So you could tune in at different times and kind of get the same thing. That was pretty much the case today, man. Like threes galore from the other. I mean, we started off yesterday's MinerTalk like, man, look at Louisiana Tech from 3. Man, turn on the broadcast today. Missouri State from 3, so it's pretty much the same thing, man.
Yeah, no doubt. 915-505-6009. Kind of the same thing. It feels like Groundhog Day. It feels like especially the same thing for this UTEP basketball team that just doesn't have an identity on both sides of the floor. I thought Joe Golding summed it up perfectly, right? Like, on offense, they struggle to score the ball. On defense, they're not getting after it. They're not forcing turnovers. They're not the same Joe Golding type of defense either. And I thought that it was really telling to hear Golding talk about this a little bit more candidly in this game. And yes, they have the injuries, right? It's Tyrese Watson, who I was real high on. I was real excited about him, who hasn't played in the last 5 games. It's Caleb Blackwell, who had a concussion and for whatever reason was out of this game. I don't even remember him facing concussion symptoms in the loss previously to Louisiana Tech. But regardless, I don't also, when it comes to this team, I didn't expect them to be without David Tubeck, although he hasn't really been a big spark for them necessarily. But still, I mean, what does this mean right now? Number one, it means that the depth they have around this team isn't enough. And without one of the significant players, even if you don't want to throw Tyrese Watson in the mix, but just put Caleb Blackwell in that mix. A loss today, like they did to Missouri State, 24-point loss on the road in Conference USA to a team that's okay, right? I mean, look, like they're an okay team. Are they going to be in the top half of Conference USA? Maybe. Is this a team that you should fear in Conference USA? Not necessarily.
Not at all,
No, I wouldn't say that. And I don't really know what this league is yet. We're watching, maybe a week plus of basketball being played so far. I'm seeing that the home teams are really rising to the top. That's kind of been the case for Conference USA over the past couple of years because of how much travel there is. But it's still a small sample size, so we really don't know just yet what this league is made out of. We don't know what kind of run these teams will have at home versus their away games. So a small sample size, but for the Miners, a really bad start to league play. A league that isn't good. Mm-hmm. Let's just say it that as well. And it's a one-bid league, in Conference USA. So very disappointed again. Losing today, 79-55. Really bad loss right here. Fan base is down. We're down here on MinerTalk, but we're going to stay up here tonight and talk with you. 915-505-6009. I've got good points. I got good storylines. I got good talking points. So I think you're going to enjoy these, Sal. But let's get some phone calls in the mix. 915-505-6009. Jaime is going to join us first. Jaime, good evening. What's going on?
Hey, guys. I'm going to make it quick. I just want to make a comment that I think the team has lost confidence in Golding. The way that they went out today, and I think they got run out of the court in the first half. So what I'm seeing is the team has lost confidence in Golding, and my question beyond that is, what is Center going to do? Because Golding, I'm pretty sure he's out the door. But
just after they gave him their extension, just after they gave him the extension last year, you're saying he's out the door?
Yes, I do believe it because I don't think the fan base or the university can actually live with that loss of confidence in the team. So I think Center would either have to step up and fire Golding, or Golding is going to taint Center, so much that Center may be out the door. That's my opinion, and I'll leave it up to you guys. I'll go ahead and listen on the radio. Thank you, guys.
I appreciate it, Jaime. Thank you for weighing in. I'll say this as far as firing, just always remember the buyout with all of it. And I don't know the exact numbers, but it's around $800,000 for 2 more seasons after this year if UTEP were to buy out Joe Golding. And again, I think it's a little early to say that kind of stuff. And for a school like UTEP that doesn't have money, we've said this on MinerTalk before. I don't mean this early, like as in early into the tenure, early into the run. I mean early into the contract extension. So I don't know if UTEP has that kind of buyout dollar around them. I don't know if that would be feasible for them on their side. And the answer, my guess, would be no, that they don't have that kind of money to go out and pony up a buyout for any of their coaches, let alone Golding, any of the guys who are around him. So that's just kind of the reality with the basketball situation or with the athletic situation right now. And I think there's just so many fish to fry. It's tough, right? Because you got to worry about NIL. You got to worry about schedule making. You got to worry about the talent you put out there. You got to worry about the rotation. I just heard somebody recently say, you go out there, you pay more than what you think a top dollar is for a player. You pay more than that, and you go get yourself one guy and you build all around that. And maybe that's the solution and recipe, because this roster right here, they banked on a couple guys. They paid some good money to a couple guys on this team. They filled it out with the rest of the roster, and I just don't think this roster is built properly to win, even in Conference USA, which isn't a very good league. So we'll see what happens. We'll see how they try to maneuver, but losing 2 of the first 3 road games in Conference USA, 7 of their last 8 games, and getting blown out on the road like they did tonight. Just not a good look for this squad at all. 915-505-6009. Dave is next on the program. Dave, good evening, man. What's going on?
Hey, what's up, guys? Yeah, I've been going to UTEP basketball for probably 50 years. And I talked to one of the players. I called you last year with David Van Dyke.
I remember.
And I talked to him tonight, and he's like, wow, it's embarrassing. There's no pride anymore. It's like, what has happened? I mean, I went to King's X last week for breakfast, and I talked to an older couple, and he was like, if I would have known it was going to be this bad, I wouldn't have re-upped my tickets. And it's sad. It makes no sense to me how bad we are.
The problem is they don't really have an identity, at least the last couple teams. Like last year's team wasn't necessarily jumped off the page and made you think, wow, they're great. But they were at least feisty on defense. They had an identity. 2 years ago, or I should say 3 years ago, it was the Shamar Givens team with Mario McKinney. That year didn't end off well under Joe Golding necessarily, with UTEP. They were still a pretty bad team. They finished out 14-18, but they still had that defensive identity. This year, their defense is almost as bad as their offense. Offensively, they're in the bottom third of college basketball. Defensively, they're 215 out of 360 teams. Like that, they're a bad defense this year too, and that's not like a Joe Golding squad. So, Dave, you're right on the money. They just don't have an identity right now.
Yeah, Don Haskins is up there rolling over watching this. And he would have hated the NIL. The NIL is ruining college sports, in my opinion. It's, we can't get kids. We can't pay kids like big schools. It just, pardon my French, sucks. To get kids to come, you got to pay. It used to be you had 4 years. If you transferred, you sat out a year. But now it's like, oh, heck, I'm not going to play. I'm going to go to another school. And they can do this as much as they want, which is crazy to me.
The other thing, Dave, I'll say this, or I'll ask you this. What would you say to, because look, like let's say UTEP, right around the figure of 600,000. Let's say that's their NIL total. And let's say I told you that's in the top 5 or better in Conference USA. And the team that they play tonight, let's say right now they are around 300,000, right? And let's say teams like Sam Houston are also 300,000. Then what's your explanation after that? Because why can't UTEP build the rosters?
Exactly. Why can't we get kids to come to UTEP with the tradition we've had? And I'm going to go to New Mexico State, who was dead in the water 2 or 3 years ago. Clean house. And they can get kids in Cruces, but we can't get kids in El Paso. Is it recruiting? What is it? I don't understand it.
Yeah, I guess it's a little bit of recruiting right there. And it's a little bit of failed execution, Dave. And yeah, man, I don't know when this changes, how this changes, how quick, how things are going to change when they go to a better conference next year in the Mountain West. Like if things are bad in Conference USA, if you're losing 24 points on the road to Missouri State, what happens when you're on the road at UNLV, on the road at Nevada, on the road at New Mexico? Those are tougher teams than Conference USA opponents right now.
Oh, absolutely. We're gonna be embarrassed, just like we were tonight against Southwest Missouri. That just it blows my mind.
I hear you, man. Hey, I appreciate your phone call, Dave. Thank you for weighing in. 915-505-6009. Sal, any thoughts on those 2 calls there that came in?
Yeah, I mean, if there's mumblings or not, right? Who knows? But of season ticket holders saying, man, I wish, I'd have known it was going to be this bad. Now it's kind of like that next level break, right? Because we say it all the time, you're going to have your diehards. Well, if you have your diehards left, it might just go down, fan by fan. And it's sad to say, but that might be the case. And there's a lot of people who don't really express how they feel, in one way or another. I talk to some people and they're like, yeah, I mean, we still go because we love them, but whatever. They'll be there. But how long does it take for somebody to break? And basically
agree.
Say no more. And also, too, if all this pleasure is going on right now, there's not much progress from here until the end of the year, right? Let's just safely assume, based on what we've seen so far, that it doesn't get better. I think that's a safe way to say it. And it's June, and there's no big news other than the fact that UTEP's joining or is about to step foot into the Mountain West. Like the arrival is there. If that's the biggest news going into next season and Golding's still here, who knows what those crowds are going to look like next year?
Yeah, and they're already really bad as it is right now. So I'm totally with you on that. The fan support's down. People wondering about the season ticket holder or the season tickets and why they should have renewed or all that kind of stuff. That's tough stuff too, because a lot of these fans fans who've been doing this haven't just been doing this for like a year or two. Like, they've been diehard UTEP fans for life. And for them to feel like their fandom is wavering right here after some bad seasons and some struggles, that's tough too. So hate to hear that kind of stuff, but it is definitely valid. And it's not the first time that we've heard things like this from different fans out there here from UTEP. 915-505-6009. Couple more calls to get to. Julian is next here on the phone lines. After Julian, we'll get to more comments on social media, and then I'll hit some storylines and some talking points that I have as well. Julian, good evening, man. What's going on?
Hi, how you doing?
Doing good. What did you think of this game?
Well, I'm with the other callers. It's terrible. It's embarrassing. It's sad. And that we can't beat a team like Missouri State. It's really ridiculous when they have 1,800 fans in their stadium.
Yeah, and look at the size too. It's like, the previous excuses for these losses, well, hey, UTEP's going up against a team with a lot of size. Look at that Louisiana Tech team that they had out, or forget those teams right there. Look at the North Dakota State team that UTEP ended up beating here at the West Star Don Haskins Sun Bowl Invitational. Miners don't have a lot of size. They struggle against teams with size. Tonight they're going up against a team that actually the Miners had more size than in the Bears, and look at what happened on the rebound margin. Like 31-25, Missouri State wins the rebound margin. So it's not just the opponent, but it's how you lose. And the frustrating parts for that, like, when will the wins come on the road? And Julian, totally behind what you're saying right there, man. Any other thoughts? Any other takeaways from this loss right here?
Like the previous caller said, if the roster's not built properly, who does that fall on? To me, it falls on the coach.
Sure.
He's not recruiting properly. He's not coaching properly. He's had his time. I understand the whole buyout thing, but, maybe it was a bad call by center as well. And, our basketball's not doing good. Our football's not doing good. It's just, from top to bottom.
No, it's a really bad athletics year in total. I mean, volleyball is holding their own. Women's basketball is starting to win some games on their side too. But outside of that, in the sports that really move the needle for your athletic department to make money, like football and men's basketball, they've struggled mightily. So appreciate your phone call, Julian. Thank you for weighing in. Thank you for your thoughts. 915-505-6009. Missouri State defeats UTEP 79-55. We're presented by Jack in the Box. They've got locations here in El Paso. They're open 365 every single day here in town. And of course, Jack in the Box, where cravings don't have a curfew. Big shout out to our great team at Jack in the Box for sponsoring us here on MinerTalk. Let's go to more from this Missouri State UTEP loss. 79-55 was the finish. The Bears get it done. They shot 53% from the floor, 42% from beyond the arc. They hit 8 threes, which, by the way, that's 10 threes for La Tech, 8 3-pointers for Missouri State. Not good perimeter defense by the Miners. Also, we talked about the rebounds. UTEP had 11 turnovers in this game as well. And then other numbers to look at, lead time, Missouri State led for all this game, 39 minutes, 22 seconds. UTEP really didn't have a chance in this one, even out of the jump. So, Sal, going into this game, I was like, all right, I'm going to do something different because I've been coming to MinerTalk and I've been throwing things out there like my burning questions. We've been talking about players. We've been going player by player and discussing that. We've thrown out the fantasy stuff for different segments here on MinerTalk. I did one today, and I did things I like for UTEP men's basketball and things I don't like. I feel like I quickly abandoned this segment right here because the issue was, what are we going to do? Be tone deaf and say things I like after a 24-point loss? What do you really enjoy after a loss like this? This is almost a 30-point loss right here. So midway into the game, at halftime when they were down 26, which, by the way, first half was atrocious. That was one of the worst first halves of, and I feel like I've said this a lot lately, but one of the worst halves of basketball I've seen by the Miners in a really long time. And after that first half, I said, all right, forget this segment, Sal. I'm going to scrap this segment. I'm going to come up with a new one. Give me all the games when UTEP has lost by 18 or more points on the road in Conference USA. So that's what I went and did. The number, there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games like this since 2020. It's only 6 games since 2020. Maybe I should flip that and say there have been already 6 games since 2020. But how do you see that? When I tell you there's been 6 games that have been blowouts by 18 or more points by the opposing team on the road in Conference USA, what do you say to that since 2020?
I say that's the bottom of the bottom in what is a really, really bad half of the cup. And I say this because thinking of that, I'm like, okay, yeah, that's a terrible game. But then I think of all the blowouts that happened where they got garbage points and happened to lose by 9 points. They happened to stretch that deficit to, cut it to 11. So it's not falling within that range. But there have been a lot of games that fall just outside of it because of garbage time. And the other team's just trying to get out of there and dribble it out.
Hey, this is coming in from Locomotive Miner here on the program. We'll get to some more comments because I do want to run down the whole list. You'll get a kick. I
can't wait.
Yeah, you'll get a kick out of the list because of some of the games. And the funny thing is, Sal, we've done 6 Miner Talks after all these games right there. So
I honestly don't even know which ones they are because there's so many similar instances. So
yeah, maybe 6
wait.
is a lot. Maybe that kind of averages 1 per year. You get a blowout road loss every single year. That's kind of a lot, right?
And this is just conference, right?
We're just talking CUSA. Yeah. We're just talking CUSA road losses by 18 or more points. I found the number 18 was better than like 25, which, by the way, there's only been 2 25 or more. So I guess maybe that's an okay thing, but still none of this is good. This is from Locomotive Miner, who chimes in on the program. Thank you for all you do for the show. New year, same UTEP. UTEP athletics are an embarrassment in revenue sports. In football, we have an offensive coach that can't score, and in basketball, we have a defensive coach that can't stop anyone. Yet you guys keep showing up and listening to us bitch and complain. Thank you again for doing what you do. Happy New Year to all of you. The real heroes of the game are Miner Talk, not in a uniform or on the sidelines. Thank you, man. I appreciate you, Locomotive Miner. Thanks for the love, and Happy New Year to you and all the UTEP Miner fans out there. And by the way, we much rather talk about UTEP wins than losses. Like people, some people think like, oh, well, it's better when they lose. Not necessarily. This is the most calls we've had in weeks, by the way, here on Miner Talk, and it's not because people aren't caring. Aren't watching. They care. They watch, but they're checked out, and I don't blame them. I don't blame them for feeling that way. This is coming in on Twitter next, and then we'll get to Augustine. Danson Aggie NMSU at Viva Los Aggies. Borderland sports is horrendous right now, both NMSU and UTEP. By the way, Aggies losing today on the road at FIU.
Yeah, but you know what the difference is? Oh, that sucks. Their record drops to 8-4. Damn. That's the big difference, right? For the Miners, what is it now? 4-8, 4-9, something like that. So it's you can afford a loss like this when you got some skin in the game.
Avid UTEP fan Edgar Montiel at Krabby Miner chimes into the program. Adrian, Happy New Year. UTEP men's basketball is dead last in CUSA. We have lost 9 straight league games. Let's please stop giving the UTEP "we don't have the money" excuse. There is no way in heck that Missouri State, Delaware, Kennesaw, Jacksonville State, New Mexico State, and FIU have more money than us. He's not wrong. Maybe like 2 of those teams right there have more NIL funds in men's basketball than UTEP. Yeah. But every other team, with the exception of 2 in that conversation, definitely. UTEP has more money then. So maybe NIL doesn't mean everything. Maybe the fact that they're in the top 5-ish of NIL and Conference USA doesn't really mean jack here, Sal.
I think the best way I could put it is this analogy is like whatever number of teams are in that same range of that NIL, right, that they got to hand out. Could use this analogy. Let's say there's 4 or 5 restaurants that have a certain budget to work with. Is it possible that every single restaurant, given the same amount of money, is going to produce the same quality? No, there's some restaurants that are just going to beat the odds, right? UTEP just hasn't been a good restaurant for who knows how long. And they're saying change the ingredients, change the general manager, change the line cook, whatever you want to throw out there. That's, I guess, in this sense equivalent. It's just not working out. So I don't know, man. Some people are starting to say, you know what? I'm done using my coupons and going to this restaurant. So they got to figure out a way to engage them back in. But I keep falling into that, right? Because just down the road from us, yeah, they lost or whatever, but they still got a pretty respectable team in Conference USA. Elsewhere, some Missouri State, the newcomer on the block, their restaurant's pretty good, right? Their food was better today. I don't know, man. It's just the same thing that keeps on happening year in and year out. But I'm like, I have to come up with something else because I'm tired of using basketball.
Yeah.
I'm also kind of hungry too, if that means anything. But I don't know.
Hey, here's another analogy. Maybe UTEP is like Family Guy. Every year there's a new season. Some seasons are okay. Some seasons are just awful. And at some points, fans or viewers just check out. If it's not good TV, if it's not good viewing, they just check out in the middle of the season. They don't really pay attention. And I think there's a good chunk of the fan base who, they're UTEP diehards. They're going to be UTEP basketball diehards forever. But they're checked out right now. And they'll look at the final scores. They might keep up with some of the games, but they're not going to support the same way that they would if they were, if they had like a vested interest and a more motivated interest than what they're currently in right now. So no dig to Family Guy. I like Family Guy. Let's go to Poncho, who's checking in on Twitter and X. Same excuse, different game. #MinerTalk. Trey Politz, Adrian, question: can UTEP change direction and move on from Golding this year? This program needs a reset. Well, I just talked a little bit about that as far as the buyout stuff and where this program has been in the past and all that kind of stuff. Plus, let the season play out. There's only one team that wins Conference USA, as bad of a league this is. And like Edgar pointed out, worst team in Conference USA right now. They are dead last in CUSA. Yeah, I get a lot of those. I'll just say this. How bad? I don't care really about this season. I care more optically about how UTEP's going to be perceived going into the Mountain West. And that league is teetering from like a one-bid league to like, of course, what they're at right now, a multi-bid league. They got to get 2 or more every year, Sal, or else this league is kind of not necessarily a parallel move, but it's not necessarily a huge jump up from Conference USA. And it's got to be a multi-bid league. That's what it's got to stick at. And if UTEP goes in, it's going to hurt the conference from the top to bottom, like right now, just as it stands.
I'll put it this way. The Mountain West is better with UTEP in it than Conference USA is with UTEP in it. And it has
Agreed.
And that, to be said, it really has nothing to do with UTEP because they're a non-factor in their conference. So I do think even then the Mountain West is still better than Conference USA. And honestly, it's not even close.
Okay, good. I'm happy you said that. Thank you, because I'm getting a little. If you don't get it from my tone, I'm getting a little paranoid right now that Mountain West kind of hates UTEP a little bit, but I'm getting a little paranoid about that stuff. JJ Gomez 560 chimes in. Actually, this was a couple days ago, so I won't read that one. This is from JK. 12 is still a large lead, Adrian. Well, maybe not this year's squad, at least. I guess Golding will still talk about how hard they played and how they improved since that's what matters at UTEP now, not winning. Pinky, each game they lay against Division I schools, they start so bad. I thought they could have figured it out by now. Snappy, Joe Golding should have been gone at the end of last season. This is atrocious. Clearwater, the first 6 minutes of this game are some of the worst UTEP basketball of the decade. Golding needs to go. Shannon, absolute massacre. Never have I ever seen it so bad as this. #We cry orange. #MinerTalk. This is Tristan Pence. Disgraceful first half by UTEP men's basketball. Missouri State was picked to finish last in Conference USA. The Miners gave 0 effort in the first half. Golding and his clueless staff have no answers. This is unacceptable. David Corral, this is a bleep show. Golding had a panicked look on his face, and the players are feeding off of all of that right now. Andrew, West Texas, fire everyone. Ignacio Rivera, 3 more years, 3 more years, 3 more years. #Ignacio. Miner Joe @NotMinerJoe. I'm not watching or going to a game until I see improvement. This is ridiculous now. Missouri State, seriously? This is beyond sad. This is from Snappy. The Golding recipe has always been this season is going to be so long, and I will continue to watch it. David Corral Jr., levels of pain, slap, childbirth, kicked in the balls, and then UTEP fan being the number one in terms of levels of pain. Tristan Pence, a horrible showing by the worst coach team in Division I basketball. I'll try to muster up something positive. At least Trey Horton made a couple baskets. That's about it. Joe Golding needs to resign and give Coach Cox a chance to run things. Wow. That's a brutal stretch. Let's go to Augustine. Speaking of brutal, he's up next with us. 915-505-6009. Augustine, good evening, man. What's going on?
Adrian, Sal, good evening. Hope you guys are doing great. But as we discussed before, I think I've got another answer for UTEP, and I think UTEP should really look into this one. And you and Sal are probably one of the only ones in El Paso who know about this.
Okay, give it to me.
The answer is NIL. We know it's screwing up sports, but we can go outside NIL, and the answer is Antoine Gillespie in Switzerland.
So you're saying get yourself some foreign athletes, get yourself some foreign players, and have them. I mean, he obviously knows what he's doing over there. He's produced some quality talent, but go get yourself some better talent, foreign players if NIL is an issue.
Exactly. I mean, FIFA did it before NIL, and then with UTEP's lack of money and lack of funds or lack of whatever, even though there's a high up there working on the funds allegedly. Why not go to Antoine Gillespie, where he has the first prep school in all of Europe, in Switzerland, that he has produced some really good players? Why not have that connection? Finally, UTEP can reach out to a former connection and actually have something productive for UTEP. What is UTEP afraid of now? That's what I want to know. And if they're afraid of something, Jim Center should hand in his resignation tomorrow and give it to Miss Wilson. Say, you know what, Miss Wilson? I suck at my job. I completely suck at it, and I'm not willing to take the extra step.
I mean, I hear you, man. I hear you. Hey, I appreciate it, Augustine. Thanks for the call, man. Thanks for hanging with us late and always supporting and listening to us here on MinerTalk. So appreciate you, man. Thanks for weighing in. 915-505-6009, 600 ESPN El Paso, Twitter and X, and 600ESPNElPaso.com. That's where you can check us out here on MinerTalk as we continue. The women's basketball game just wrapped up, Sal, and I've got good news for you. So it's not all bad news. Miners get it done 82-71 against Delaware here, the Blue Hens in this matchup. So good win for the women's basketball team, getting one at the dawn against a conference opponent.
And you know what? It was I know that this final score shows them winning by 11, but they had to fight and claw, man. Delaware was itching back. I think they were up 6 after the first quarter. Miners outscored. Yeah, here we go. The Miners outscored them by 7, so they're up by 1. And they kind of pull away a bit in the third, but just as they're up, by near 10 points or at 10 points, Delaware does something to cut it to 7, sometimes even 6 at points and closer than that. So, no, man, the UTEP women finally back on the winning track. They started out on fire, went on a bit of a skid, played some big dogs in women's college basketball, but man, they're stepping back into it, and that's what you want, right? You want to be playing some of your best basketball when you start conference play, and then mid towards later part of the conference schedule, you want to be playing your best. So, good stuff for them today, and something good to see. Are they here at home on Sunday as well? I'm guessing.
I believe so. I would guess yes. I would guess the answer is yes to that.
Okay, I'll look at here. Let's see. Yep, they are. Liberty, 12 o'clock. So
there you go.
We'll have some updates on that during the men's game as well.
Good point. And yeah, men's basketball, by the way, that afternoon game. So I love that. So good stuff all around. I'm happy that the women get a big victory here in this matchup, and we'll see how they continue moving forward as the season continues for Keith Adams and company. But good win right there. Shout out to Zay Galindo with all the coverage for that matchup right there. He might call in for some, little post-game thoughts here with us as well. Let's continue here with the men and more here. 915-505-6009. That's our telephone number. I had a couple points I wanted to bring up. I said, this is what I like and this is what I didn't like. Things that I like, things that I didn't like. I think it's tone deaf, Sal. I was saying that while you were answering a call if I was going to say things I like about the men's team when they lose. It was a loss. So how much can you truly like after a loss like this? That's not one of those things that people like to hear. I will say this, though, in terms of this basketball team, and in terms of this game, things that I did like Jamal West Jr. He had a cross-up mid-range jumper early into this one. Things that I did like, I like the Trey Horton steal. Joe Golding highlighted some of his defense as of late. I agree with that. The defense for Trey Horton has gotten better. I like the 3-point that he had in the second half. Elijah Jones had a putback on an 8-0 run when they were trying to cut it to 12 points in the second half. Jamal West Jr. had a nice he was going up against a double team pretty much the entire game, and then in the second half he had a nice bucket against the double team. So he's able or trying to find ways to score despite having multiple people against him. So those were the only things that I like, and I try to be specific instead of just saying I like their rebounding, I like their defense. I wanted to find specific possessions that I found good, but I really didn't find a lot that was solid for this basketball team. So for the defense, or for the downside of it, things I didn't like. Number one, I didn't like the starting five. They rolled this time with the likes of KJ Thomas, Kasim Watson, Jamal West Jr., Cassius Brooks, and Elijah Jones. And you might ask me, okay, well, who do you want in their starting five? And I guess that's the problem.
It's hard to answer.
It's hard to answer, and there's just not a five that I find that, yeah, I'm going to start with this group and it's going to be awesome. If you had to compare this starting five with just by talent, take away the player, take away what they could be, take away the potential, all that, the player right now and the talent, and you compare it to the talent of the starting fives over the last 6 years or so, it's not even close. There's really like 2 or 3 rosters or 2 or 3 times where a starting five has the same level of talent or lack thereof, and that's a sad thing. I mean, I know they're without Blackwell. I know they're without Tyrese Watson. Those are 2 guys who should have been starters for them night in, night out. And I expect Blackwell to be back maybe as soon as Sunday even. But regardless, starting the game 19-4, and that's the deficit you're having to claw back from. That's why. That's what it is right there. And then it's a guy who's like, there's always a player on the opposing team who never goes off, and the broadcast always brings us off. And today was Antoine Burnett, who balls out in this game for Missouri State, especially early on. He was 4 for 4, including 11 points in this game with 21 minutes. Like, this guy is not necessarily a good player, yet he catches fire early for Missouri State and puts UTEP in a really bad position. I didn't like the starting five in this game at all. And I think that just tells you, you ask the questions like, well, why does UTEP play bad, or why do they start off so poorly? Well, the starting five wasn't there.
You got to set the tone.
You got to set the tone. 10 guys quickly in 10 minutes. There's no continuity in substitutions right now. That's number 2 as far as things I didn't like. Number 3, a 15-0 run over 5 minutes by Missouri State that came into the second half as well, by the way. And, that 49-23 deficit to go to half, 51-23 out of the half, hated that. And then there was a 5-minute stretch when Missouri State, from the 10-minute period in the second half to the 5-minute period of the second half, went on a 12-1 run, and in that run, there were 5 turnovers by UTEP in 6 minutes. Miners went down 70-47. That they also had 9+ minutes to close out the game with no field goals. There you go, Sal. That's a stat you like.
Oh my goodness! You know what's crazy is I'm looking at the boxes and I'm trying to find stuff I like, right? And I'm like, I like that 8-0 run that they had, and I'm like, wait, but I don't like it too much because how come their last field goal was with 1.5 minutes left in the game? So you mean to tell me you can't even get a mercy bucket near the end of it all?
That's rough, man.
While Missouri State gets their last bucket at 1:02. And I know it's kind of nitpicky, right? Like, okay, take it away. They still lose by 20+. Big deal. But, man, just to even close out a game when it hasn't even gone your way majority of it, and the foot is off the gas already. It's
over, yeah.
That brake pedal is being tapped. It's not slammed on, but it's being tapped, and you can't even get out the way when the car's moving slower. I don't get it, man.
I don't get it either, Sal. Hey, let's do this. Before we get to the 6 blowouts, I would call them blowouts, that's 18 or more points, in the last 6 years, 6 blowouts in 6 years. Before we get to that, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. You're listening to Miner Talk. Our final thoughts coming up next, right here on 600 ESPN El Paso. Now 915-505-6009 as we wind down the program here. Missouri State defeats UTEP 79-55. It was a 24-point loss. Over the last 6 years, there have been 6 times, other than tonight, that UTEP has lost by 18 or more points on the road in Conference USA. Is it fair to use the word blowout as a loss of 18 or more points? Is that a weird number to use? 18? Is 20 the right number? Is 25 the right number? Like, I was trying to go back and forth in my head, but I settled on 18. I felt pretty good about it.
I think it's a little fair, right? Because if some people, one term they use loose is like double-digit loss, and it's like, well, what's the context behind it? We've seen close games everywhere, not just UTEP, but hey, it's a back-and-forth affair, but the team just pulls away in the final minute or so, and because of free throws, they win by 11 or whatever. So I think 18's fair. I'd probably push to like 16, but 18 just makes it more interesting.
Okay, 18 we're going to call a blowout. Here on Miner Talk, we're going to call 18 or more points a blowout loss. Okay, last time this happened, last time the Miners fell by 18 or more points was last year. They lost to Louisiana Tech in the final game that was actually in the midst of a 7-game losing streak. They lost to Louisiana Tech. La Tech beat UTEP 76-58. Daniel Bacho, Louisiana Tech, they were a sizable team. And yeah, it was a tough loss. I mean, the Miners were deflated to close out last season anyways. They were on a 7-game losing streak. So with that game right there, it just capped off, which was a really bad run. But then you have to go back. Not the year before that, the 10-33 year, they were never blown out by 18 or more points. They never had a loss like that. So then you have to go back to 2023, in which they lost by 26 points. Florida Atlantic beat UTEP 75-49. And in that game right there, you had guys like Janelle Davis, you had guys like Aaliyah Martin, you had guys like Vladislav Golden. Florida Atlantic was coached by now head coach at Michigan, Dusty May. So, man, that FAU team was solid. They were really, really good.
That was the Final Four, right, against San Diego State?
Correct.
Man,
correct.
What a good team that was, though.
Exactly. I mean, they were top 15 in the net ratings that year. So.
They get a pass in that game. I'll give them a pass in that one. No,
okay, fair.
They beat a lot of teams by a lot that year.
And out of the 6 years of Conference USA, at least 1 year, give Conference USA maybe a top 25 team, which was FAU, who ended up being, like Sal said, a top 4 team when it was all said and done. Then you go back to 2022. Middle Tennessee defeated UTEP 77-59. It was an 18-point win by the Blue Raiders. Cam Weston, Donovan Sims versus, you guessed it, Sule Boom, Jamari Sibley, Jamal Bieniemy, and Jarrell Satterfield right there. So there you go. A couple throwback names right there. That was I believe that was year 1. Yes, year 1 of Golding right there. Okay. Final year of Rodney Terry. Okay. This is 2021. This is the worst loss of the CUSA stretch that we were just referring to right here. 63-33. You were waiting for it, Sal. You were begging for this one right here. North Texas defeats UTEP 63-33. That was Sule Boom, Keontae Kennedy, Jamal Bieniemy, Titus Verhoeven, and Bryson Williams in your starting 5 that year.
That's tough considering all the guys that you have.
Javion Hamlet, James Reese on the other side for North Texas, but only 33 points.
Hey, Javion Hamlet was a dog, though. He was extremely nice. He had a big run in not only the NIT, but also the tournament itself. Just I don't know if it was his dad or his mom just going. I think it was his dad. He had like his decked out shirt and everything going crazy for North Texas and Hamlet. But man, those were some good games, man. Like real quick, I know we'll talk about it. After the final game, right? The final Miner Talk of Conference USA, so to speak. But man, there were some good matchups like Jelly Walker.
Yes.
Yes. There was another guy from North Texas, Tyler Perry.
Yes, there you go.
How about that? You parlay Hamlet into Perry. That's insane.
Great stretch by North Texas of having awesome basketball, and that's probably why their coach is like Grant McCaslin. They're at Texas Tech, so good stuff for them. Let's go to another one. Louisiana Tech defeating UTEP 73-55, 18-point win for La Tech. Isaiah Crawford, Kenny Lofton.
And Kenneth Lofton.
There you go. Kenny Lofton, by the way.
I got another one for you, too. He was a problem for UTEP. He didn't have a good game necessarily, that one, but how about Amari Archibald?
There you go. I love Amari Archibald. I remember watching his first game against UTEP.
I cannot wait for the final Minor Talk basketball one. I was excited about the football one for Conference USA, but just to reel off favorite players, we could start and end with one, really. I'm not going to say who, but we'll get there when we get there.
I say my favorite of all time is Kenneth Lofton, and I think I'm going to stick by that, but we'll have some good ones when it's all said and done. 2020, here's the last one, 19-point victory. Old Dominion defeats UTEP 72-53. Malik Curry, Aaron Carver, and the funny thing is, after these minor talks, we were so mad at UTEP, and we were so much down on the Miners after these, and we never really give credit to the other team. The only two teams that I want to continue to give credit to, program wise, that FAU team who made it to the Final Four, and the North Texas team. Everything else, I stand by it. I just don't think UTEP should lose in blowout fashion in any of these years. Any of these teams, like losing tonight by 24 to Missouri State, where does that stack up among all those? Because at least you're losing to La Tech, North Texas, Old Dominion, not to Missouri State by 24, and that's what happened tonight.
I got an honorable mention. It's not 18, but it's not far from it. It's in that same 2020 year, 86-70 to UTSA. UTSA, and you're telling me you have Bryson Williams, Caden Archie, Fio DJ, Sule Boom. I mean, sure, they got Javon Jackson and Keaton Wallace, whose brother's an NBA champion, by the way, Thunder Up. But no, man, I mean, this is
Javian Jackson, Keaton Wallace, bad team. You want to talk CUSA right now and some bad teams? This UTSA team was a bad team. And they beat UTEP 86-70. Good one. That was a good one, Sal. Yeah, it was a really bad loss right there, by the way. Bryson Williams, 21 points. Sule Boom, 18. Everybody else under 6 points. That's a bad game right there in UTEP basketball. And you know what, Sal? I guess we just have to say it's been a bad decade, right? We're over the half-decade mark of UTEP men's basketball. It's been a pretty bad. What's the high point? Going to the Conference USA Tournament Championship, I guess, that's one of those things that you could get excited about, playing in the Basketball Classic, taking Kansas to the wire. Those are the high points right there. That's it. Not a lot of real high points to talk about for basketball, and it's been a bad decade, just simply put, and that's a sad thing to say about men's basketball. But there you go. I reeled off all the big ones to talk about as far as all those games, and there's some good ones right there to kind of mention, stuff like that. But we'll keep things going. 915-505-6009, 600 ESPN El Paso, Twitter next, and 600 ESPNElPaso.com. I believe we have Zay on the hotline, so we'll get to Zay right now, and we'll break down this women's basketball game. Zay, I appreciate your phone call, man. Let's talk about the women's team because they come out victorious in a big game tonight. Break it down for us. UTEP defeated Delaware 82-71. It was a big win for the Miners here tonight.
Yeah, it was a big win, and I just have to chime in. Yeah, that UTSA team was really good. They had a future NBA player on there. They had the leading scorer.
Who is a future NBA player? Who is the future NBA player on that team?
Keaton Wallace.
Oh, that's true. I didn't think of that. You know what? I don't think of Keaton Wallace as an NBA player, but good point. Yeah.
But in the women's game, they went down early by 10, and it was going down the route that we've seen this women's team go down. Maybe they just weren't feeling it that night. But then Ndak Mbengwe, she had a huge game. She erupted for 8 straight points. And after that, the Miners just used all that momentum, didn't really look back. Delaware kept it close throughout the second quarter, but in the third quarter, Yvonne Tensaye, the seasoned vet, she's been at UTEP for 3 years after transferring in from the Big Ten program. Can't think of it off the top of my head, but Penn State. She's been at UTEP for 3 years. She easily could have left. She talked about it. Coach Keith Adams talked about it in the presser, but she's become the seasoned vet. She hit 6 threes, for them in the second half. And after that, UTEP really just didn't really look back. They went up by as much as 15 in the fourth quarter, and Ndak, she continued to have a great game. She finishes off the day with 25 points, 14 rebounds, and all in all, this UTEP team, they got back to what they are really good at, forcing turnovers, scoring in transition, and kind of just capitalizing off momentum that they can build defensively. They had a full court press after going down by 10. That was another big one that led to some open layups for everybody on the team. So this UTEP team, they struggled towards the end of non-conference. They're putting it together still, I think, but you can see how this team can be a real contender in Conference USA, and they come out victorious over Delaware, welcoming them to Conference USA. They win 82-71. It was a wild game. It was a wild game.
Where does this stack up in wins in terms of Conference USA for the women's?
For Delaware, I have no clue how good Delaware is going to end up being. They come in at 6-6. They host Liberty. UTEP hosts Liberty Sunday. I think we'll know more about how UTEP will fare in conference and where they'll really shape up. But for now, I mean, UTEP's 9-3. They're 1-0 in conference play. You can't really ask for much more than that.
Fair. I like it. Zay, I appreciate it as always. Any thoughts on the men's team? I mean, 24-point blowout loss. We were saying it right now. There's only been 6 other times other than today. So that means 7 overall since 2020. Since, the Miners have been blown out on the road in Conference USA by 18 or more points.
It's just disappointing. It's disappointing. Watching the game, it was tough to watch. That's what I keep saying throughout the year, but it's really tough to watch this basketball team because it's not good basketball they're playing. College basketball is all. You're going to see some dud games, but this UTEP offense, it's hard to watch. And their defense, which is what Coach Joe Golding has hung his hat on here at UTEP, it's not good. It's not good at all. I mean, they're giving up open threes left and right. They're not rebounding the ball at a high clip. They never really have, and it was just tough to watch. But I think I have some fantasy stats if you guys want me to reel them off.
Yeah, give it to us real quick. We got 2 calls to get to, but give it to us real quick.
So in this game, let me check. I know that. Okay. Right now, the leader is Sal. He's dominating, 507 points, total points. Of course, he has Elijah Jones. In second place, Chris, 484 with Jamal West, Cassius Brooks, and L.A. Hayes. Adrian, you have 381. Of course, you've lost Tyrese Watson, so it's been tough for you. And I have 355, so I'm still in last place. But I'm working towards the top.
You're catching up.
I'm working towards the top.
You're catching up to me. I appreciate the update on the fantasy basketball. We'll be back at it Sunday. We'll have more of an accurate understanding of where we're at. But Sunday's game, Florida International, will be back at it. But Zay, appreciate it as always, man. Thank you for your coverage today of women's basketball, and we'll talk to you Sunday.
See you guys.
All right, let's keep the phone lines moving. 915-505-6009. Orly is up next. Then we got Luis from the east side. Hang on with me, Luis. We're going to get to Orly first. Orly, good evening, man. Big day for you tomorrow. I don't even want to talk basketball now. Big game for you tomorrow.
Sure. Well, it all comes down to one game. I mean, it's going to be a good game. Thank God it's in San Francisco. I understand the weather's not going to be good.
I saw that, and it was terrible yesterday in the Rose Bowl, even before and after,
First of all, great football games. Disappointed in Texas Tech, as I'm a Texas Tech fan, but then you realize the Big 12 in football was weak, and it showed with Texas Tech. I'm glad Alabama's out. I'm glad Ohio State's out. That's great. I'm glad Georgia, all the Blue Bloods. So, come on, Indiana. Anyway, going back to what's going on at UTEP basketball. Guys, this is unacceptable. It's embarrassing. They're 1-15 against the one win in the last 15 or 16 against Division I
teams, and then it's 7 straight losses in Conference USA as well. Yeah,
it all started last year. I gave up on them after I saw that loss to New Mexico State at home. You lost how much did UTEP lose on season ticket sales after that loss, that debacle losing by 30 to New Mexico State in front of a sellout. That cost UTEP a fortune. I don't understand the extension. Don't understand it. Why was he deserving of an extension? I like to know what his actual win percentage against Division I schools. Take off the Division II and III schools, and I guarantee he's got a losing record. I was sold a bill of sale, I guess, bill of goods when he first came in, because he beat Texas. I was just as foolish to believe that this guy could coach Division I football at UTEP. The only hope we can have is that he resigns and we don't have to pay his contract. That's the only way, but I don't think he's going to resign.
Well,
unless the pressure finally gets to where people are fed up. I've talked to a lot of season ticket holders, just regular people, not the boosters, just season ticket holders. They're done. They're not. They don't even know when UTEP's playing now. People don't understand. I know when they're playing because I follow it. But there's a lot of people. Hey, UTEP, really? They're playing tonight? I didn't know that. That never happened in the past.
No,
never happened in the past. People are fed up. People are frustrated. You get beat by a team that's transitioning into Division I tonight.
Well, just in football, right? But Missouri State, this is what I'll say this.
Missouri State was, they were Division II, yeah. Anyway, everybody got excited about, they beat North Dakota State. Nah. In the past, North Dakota State wouldn't have been in the same league as us. And I don't want to hear about the NIL money and all. This program's been going downhill for the last 3 years.
Fair. Look, Orly.
What was the slogan when we lost to Western Kentucky?
Yeah, 10-33.
15-33, and then that team swept us.
I know. Orly, the interesting thing is Joe Golding is currently 32-42 against Conference USA. So just you asked for the total overall win percentage, and without Division I teams, sure, that number's not going to look great. It's right around or lower than 500, but the conference record isn't good, 32-42. And to be honest with you, over the last 20, or at least in the 21st century, it's still better than some of the years in Conference USA. But again, like you're mentioning, it's against inferior teams. Missouri State, they cut their teeth in the Missouri Valley Conference. They were still Division I, but they were the Missouri Valley Conference. This year, going to the Conference USA, which, by the way, I just want to make just for the record, Missouri Valley Conference is on par with Conference USA and how bad CUSA is overall. So just to put that out there, that has to be said. Regardless, Missouri State's not a great basketball program, Orly, and that's where your frustration comes. Now it's not Old Dominion beating UTEP; it's Missouri State, a team that no one's heard of.
And a team took us to overtime, and we were lucky to hit a 3-pointer at a Division III school.
Yeah, that's probably the low point.
I don't understand the extension. You got embarrassed. That was an unacceptable loss last year at home in front of a sellout crowd, and that warrants an extension? Don't understand the reasoning behind the extension.
I hear you.
I don't know. Someone needs to answer for that. I don't understand it.
I hear what you're saying, man. I appreciate your phone call, Orly, as always. Have a happy New Year, man. I'm happy that you called in here to start us off in 2026. So happy New Year to you and your fam, and go Niners tomorrow, man. I can't believe I'm saying that.
You know what I heard that whole talk with Orly? This is all I heard.
It's the Miner 49er.
Welcome to MinerTalk.
There you go. Hey, I haven't heard of Charlotte in a while, so that's a pretty bad team, but shout out the Miner 49er.
By the way, real quick, Missouri Valley is way better than Conference USA.
I would say so, Sal.
Extremely better.
I would say so. Going to Luis from the east side. He's next with us now in 5505-6009. Luis, good evening, man. What's going on?
Happy holidays. Shalom.
Hey, shalom, Luis. I thought it was you.
I haven't heard from Saul. Long time.
Saul. I like that name. Sal is my pal, and Saul. I liked Sal. What do you think, Saul? Do you like that or no?
It's
Were you ever Saul?
People call me that all the time, but
Yeah?
I'm like, it's Sal, but cool. Extra Val. That's nice.
Okay, good stuff, Luis.
Thank you.
How about your teams right now? Give us a rundown.
No. First of all, please permit me to send a message to Orly. Orly, whenever you can, let's do some business, man. We're ready. Give me a call, Orly. Okay, now, but because we need to do some business with him, real estate. Okay, I'll tell you right now. We are waiting for that game between Seattle and San Francisco. Give me your opinion. What do you think?
This really did turn to the Miner 49er conversation. Luis, you're the man. Wants to give a shout out to Orly to do business, and then wants to talk 49ers Seahawks. That's when you know we got to wrap this up, Sal. That's when you know when we're done. All right, Sal, you give your pick because the podcast listeners have already hit unsubscribe right now here on MinerTalk. But I'm going to pick the 49ers.
I'm going to pick, you know what? I'll go San Francisco as well. Actually, let me take it back. I pick Shanahan.
Yeah.
That's who I pick.
Yeah, I think he's going to honestly, man, Coach of the Year.
Exactly. And I'm glad you said that because somebody called in earlier, the caller right before Luis, and I was talking to him. I was doing sports talk. This was probably like week 2, week 3 let's say week 3 or 4 of the NFL. And guys are dropping like flies for the 49ers, and I'm like, hey, man, Shanahan could be a potential Coach of the Year candidate. And I felt bad because this is all fair, I'm telling him. He goes on there, one of the first things he says, Steve, Shanahan, Coach of the Year. And Steve was like, come on, it's 3-4 games into the year. That's ridiculous. Stop it. And I felt bad because I didn't stick up for Orly. But Orly, that was last year, man. I'm a new man. It's 2026. I'm with you. Shanahan, in the conversation for Coach of the Year for sure.
Yeah, I mean, Ben Johnson, Shanahan, Mike Vrabel, they're all in that discussion. But good stuff right there. You're going San Fran. I'm going San Fran. Let's see what happens tomorrow. It's in Santa Clara, so horrible weather for tomorrow's game. Luis, you're the man. I appreciate your phone call, man. Thank you. Happy New Year to you and your family. And I'm sure we'll talk to you on Sports Talk. So shalom to you, man. Hey, I think this has to do it for us here on MinerTalk. Appreciate everybody chiming in on the program here today. Sal, any final thoughts ahead of Florida International, which is coming up on Sunday?
Get off to a good start. That way the game plan you have is something that you can build on and, put out there instead of having to throw it out because the first 5 minutes aren't good.
I just see a lot of red this year, and that's a lot of losses so far. Miners are 4-9, coming back home next week when they have Middle Tennessee and Western Kentucky at 4-10. It's not where you want to be, and for the Miners, they just got to try to figure it out. This month of January is going to be a grind. Things are not going to get easier. They need to get healthier as far as their depth goes. I don't know what kind of depth, if anything, they're going to really flex out there, even if they get back the likes of Caleb Blackwell and Tyrese Watson. I don't know. I'm very disappointed with what we saw tonight, a 24-point loss to Missouri State, albeit Miners are shorthanded, but still, you don't lose like that to Missouri State on the road regardless. 79-55 is the final for Sal Montes. Zay Galindo on site covering women's basketball. I'm Adrian Broadus. We'll be back in action Sunday. UTEP taking on Florida International right here on 600 ESPN El Paso.
I always had a private doctor. I didn't think I needed VA care. Then I learned VA is ranked above private care systems nearby and costs less. I'm getting the best care of my life with providers trained to treat veterans. Get what you earn. Visit choose.va.gov.
Not all veterans are eligible for the type or amount of benefits mentioned here.
Winter is the perfect time to explore California. And there's no better way to do it than in a brand new Toyota hybrid with 19 fuel-efficient options, like the stylish all-hybrid Camry, the adventure-ready RAV4 hybrid, or the rugged Tacoma hybrid. Toyota has the perfect ride for any adventure. Every new Toyota comes with Toyota Care, a 2-year complimentary scheduled maintenance plan, an exclusive hybrid battery warranty, and of course, Toyota's legendary quality and reliability. Visit your local Toyota dealer and test drive one today so you can be prepared for wherever the road takes you this winter. Toyota, let's go places. See your local Toyota dealer for hybrid battery warranty details.